That's actually pretty self-aware. He didn't want to break the news in Philly. I knew I loved Dwyane Wade. Should he retire?
I think so. Look, he could squeeze another year or two out of his career, make $5, $6, $7, $8 million, I guess. But I see Dwyane Wade moving into a front office position if he wants, a prominent broadcasting position if he wants, whatever he wants to do, acting, whatever. I would like to see Dwyane Wade step away. This is he returned to Miami. He won him a playoff game. He the only good one they played. This would be the perfect time to walk away.
Okay, you know I'm not into stats.
I don't believe you.
I'm not into stats.
You about to run one right now.
Here's a knocker for you. The only time I think about stats is when you're at the end of your career. If Dwyane Wade plays another 60 games and averages 4 points a game, it pulls down his career average. And this is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like, don't mess with it, dude. It's like you got the rings, you got the money, you got the stature, you have the respect, you have the legacy, you have the cred. Don't average 4.5 a game, and it pulls down your averages. Like, you are an all-time, not only a great, that he has the self-awareness in the moment to go, I'm not breaking that story in Philly. I'm giving it to Miami. That's another reason I love Dwyane Wade.
D-Wade's one of my favorite players of all time that's played this game. I had the opportunity to play with him, be a teammate with him. And selfishly, no, I don't want him to retire at all. Well, I love watching him play. I love his leadership that he has, even though he's coming off the bench. Now, I still think he can still give you something. It won't be I think a 70% D-Wade is a lot better than a lot of these guys that's out there at 100%. And this is the thing, if he still feels he can play, if he still feels that he could go out there and he still has that itch and that love for the game, there's no need to quit. But one thing he's going to have to come to grips with is coming off the bench and not being able to be the exact same player that he has been. Now, if he could wrap his mind around that and understand, hey, I'm not going to be the same exact D-Wade, I'm not nowhere near Flash, but I still love the game and I still love competing, then why not come back?
Eddie, I don't know, we're talking about a 36-year-old guy, and you're seeing what's happening with Carmelo Anthony in Oklahoma City. And I would look at Dwyane Wade in the eye and say, Dwyane, I know you're in better shape than him all the time. You're not a three-point shooter, but dude, do you want to be that next year? Do you want to get clowned for looking awful and going 3 for 14 every other night?
Look like that.
I just don't think it's necessary. You know what the move is? The move is to go to the big three. Seriously. Start a team there. Maybe you're the face of the league. They had Allen Iverson. Now maybe Dwyane Wade takes that baton. I think he can stay in basketball that way because people love Dwyane Wade. He is immensely popular on social media, and everybody up here says great things about him. And I feel like, listen, you don't want to be Akeem Olajuwon, 39 years old, playing with the Raptors, okay, and averaging like 5 points a game.
No, he'll retire in Miami. And the thing, if he goes to play in the Big Three, think about this, okay, he still loves the game and wants to play. He's only 1 year removed from the NBA. Why go play in the Big Three when you could finish off in the league? He could still contribute. He'll be a double-figure scorer next year.
Jumping on flights, Eddie?
He'll be. It doesn't matter. He's conditioned to that. He's conditioned to that.
Away from your family that he just talked about?
A lot of people enjoy that. All right, Cowherd, do you like the Sixers playing up Meek Mill's release from prison?
I'd rather him play up the Sixers, who are, of every team in the NBA, if I said, who's the really fun playoff team? You'd be like, okay, the Sixers. They may not be the best. That's Golden State. They may not be the most exciting. That could be Houston. They don't have LeBron, but it's a pretty remarkable story that they are now becoming the most interesting thing out east for the first time in a decade isn't LeBron. And they just won their first playoff series in like 6-7 years. So, you know, once you get into an athlete's arena, I want to talk about the athletes. And this is the Ben Simmons arena and the Joel Embiid arena and the Sixers arena, and they should have been the story to me.
An inconsequential rapper is the story. And he was just treated like Nelson Mandela was freed from a South African prison. Helicoptered to a basketball game. That's the first thing you do when you get out of jail. I wore a hat today for a specific reason. I want to tip my hat to Roc Nation, who has put together a wonderful marketing ploy and strategy to turn Meek Mill, who was known for being clowned by Drake, to the Tupac Shakur of 2018. That's what they just did. A guy that was a laughingstock. They just took 6 months worth of narrative and convinced everybody he's an important person, an important rapper, and now he's ready to sell music. Hat tip to Roc Nation.
I see why not why not play to the fans? Why not play to the millennials? To your point, who's Joel Embiid's fans? Who's Ben Simmons' fans? The millennials. And that's who they like, Meek Mill. So why not play to that? They were wearing free Meek Mill stuff. So, hey, man, that's a way to get everybody involved. The night is going to be electrical with Meek Mill coming. And then, to be honest with you, man, they had to think about it. After Drake put out back-to-back, right? Yeah. Whooped him with the back-to-back. Something else happened back-to-back. He lost his woman and he went to jail. All right, so they need to build him up somehow, man. I'm not mad at it at all. I don't think it's that much of a big deal, but again, it's good to see somebody get out. I know what they were going for. At the end of the day, he was in for a probation violation for popping a wheelie and didn't have bond, and that's where everybody was outraged about the injustice with that when the guy in Tennessee that killed those people at Waffle House, he had a $2 million bond, so it doesn't add up, and that's really what the whole Free Meek Mill was about. It wasn't about the rapper that they love him so much. It was about he should at least have an opportunity to bond out on a probation violation.
I actually see it the opposite that you did, Colin. When you look at Meek Mill's situation, and he was the story. This was everywhere. This was on the Today Show, Good Morning America. Maybe it was to take the pressure off the young Sixers. Like you said, Ben Simmons is 21. Instead of making this about, oh, my goodness, the process, and they're going to the next round. Can they go to the finals? It's, hey, guys, let's not really talk about the team, not put any pressure on them. Let's talk about this rapper who just got out of jail. We get some street cred. So somebody on this show last week said something about Lamar Jackson would give the Patriots some street cred. Okay? This Meek Mill thing gave the Sixers a lot of street cred. I actually think it was
Didn't they already have... Everybody loves the Sixers. They're like the best story in the league.
They're not like street cred like they, you know...
Russell Westbrook isn't popular?
No, Russell, that's not street cred. Russell Westbrook has street cred.
Yes.
You know the difference between street cred, hood cred, and...
Yeah, no, I know.
Yes.
And you know what?
I mean?
Russell Westbrook ain't selling a bunch of shoes. Russell Westbrook ain't winning a bunch of basketball games. Russell Westbrook plays in OKC. He's relatively inconsequential, and so street cred is a bit overrated. Allen Iverson had all the street cred in the world.
He did, yes.
Michael Jordan didn't have street cred. Who still is selling the most shoes? Michael Jordan. It's all overrated. This is a publicity stunt by Roc Nation and a publicity stunt by Michael Rubin, the owner of the Sixers, Bob Kraft, the owner of the Patriots. It's all a bunch of virtue signaling. It's no substance, but let me pretend like I'm on the side of the people. I'm down with Meek Mill. You're down with a hashtag. That's all it is. Again, his music before this was nothing.
He was a non-fan.
I don't want to say that. He has some knockers, though. He has some knockers.
No. He had some knockers.
Yeah.
That's right.
He did. He has some knocks.
But again, not songs of substance. Not
who's got songs of substance nowadays?
Drake certainly does.
But they're acting like Chuck. They acting like Chuck D was incarcerated when it was really Vanilla Black who was incarcerated and who got clowned by Drake. But again.
But Jason, what's wrong with one day of doing this? We're going to talk about Game 1 when it comes around. We're going to talk about.
I'm gonna play a card people hate.
Okay.
Sends a horrible message to the kids, and it really does. We just put a guy on a pedestal who's accomplished nothing, hasn't stood for anything, but you got Kevin Hart and the whole arena bowing down to this guy. Terrible message to the kids.
I still don't know what a knocker is. Well.